A long, long time ago, I walked into a bar with a friend of mine. It was one of those restaurant bar places, and we went straight for the bar. Before I walked in, I knew what I wanted because I always get the same thing. But my friend needed to look at the drink menu. And as he was looking at the drink menu, I noticed that everywhere, all over the walls, hanging from the ceilings, behind the bar, were advertisements for Corona beer. This was long before the coronavirus. And he was reading the menu, and he was in deep thought, as if he was making the most monumentous decision of his life. And he said, "You know what? I think I'm going to get a Corona," like it was a very, very proud decision. And I started laughing. And he said, "What's so funny?" And I said, "Look around you, man." And he looked around at all the Corona advertisements, and he was embarrassed. This is how easy it is to brainwash people. This is how easy it is to mind control people. This is how easy it is to hypnotize people, to create a bunch of messages that come in under conscious awareness, but then get accepted and acted upon as if it is their idea, because he truly believed that he was making his own decision to get a Corona beer. But it clearly wasn't his decision. And plenty of psychological experiments have been done that demonstrate this over and over and over again. How easy it is to slip in ideas under conscious awareness. Those ideas get accepted, and then people act on those ideas, and they own their ideas. This is how easy it is to brainwash people. And of course, we are surrounded by all kinds of messages, all kinds of subliminal messages, all kinds of linguistic presuppositions, both in written form and in spoken form, all kinds of metaphorical, archetypical representations of products and ideas and other types of brainwashing by huge entities that control society, the governments, the large corporations, the religious groups, and other people that are working behind the scenes. Now, obviously, you know about this because you're watching this video, but how do you respond to this idea that it is not only so easy to program people, but we are being bombarded all the time with messages? And this is really not a good thing. It used to be an okay thing. It used to be an okay thing way back in the day when we evolved. If you imagine two groups of people, a group of hunter-gatherers that were mostly easy to brainwash, easy to program, easy to control by the top few people at the top of society, versus a group of people that were all independent thinkers. The group of independent thinkers would all be making their own decisions all the time, and they would be very, very inefficient. It would be very hard for these people to be organized enough to continuously feed themselves. So they would probably have died. They would have probably gone extinct. So the people that survived were the people that were in a very efficient hierarchy, because they were so easy to program, and they would have been so efficient as a hierarchy, they would have survived, and this is who we evolved from. But the critical difference between back then and today is back then, the people in charge of society, they wanted the best for everybody. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody was on the same team. They all lived together. They all hunted together. They all stayed safe together. But today, the people that are in charge of society have a much different set of interests than the people that live in society. They don't share a common interests. So most people today that are being brainwashed all day long are being brainwashed to do things that are really not in their best interests. They're in the interest of the people that control society. So what do you do? How do you respond to this, knowing how much of these brainwashing messages are all over the place today and how easy it is to brainwash people? It's one thing to kind of detach from this, to understand how to detach from all these messages and live your own life, to live consciously, to make your own decisions, to think for yourself, to live your own life according to your own rules that you've consciously chosen. But how do you handle all the people around you? How do you decide what to do with all the people around you that are being consistently brainwashed by these high-level entities in society? Do you leave them alone? It's kind of a romantic idea to unplug them, like in the movie The Matrix, and let them lead their own lives, but most people don't want to do that. Plenty of psychological studies have shown that people really don't want to choose their own lives. Most people would rather be told what to do, so long as doing what they're told leads them to a happy life, than have to think what to do all day long, every day. That's a very frustrating, complicated, anxiety-driven thing, to have to choose your own choices, to be responsible for your own choices. I know that's the ideal, but most people are just not willing to do that. So how do you respond to this? How do you respond to the idea that the people you see every day, the people you interact with every day, are not only being brainwashed, but they're being brainwashed against their own interests? How do you talk to them? How do you interact with them? Because you could, if you're willing to take this responsibility, which most people aren't, if you wanted to, you could mind control them yourself. You could brainwash them yourself. Make sure that you're doing this like we were supposed to do back in the old days, the way we were programmed to do this. Most people love to be brainwashed so long as that will get them a happy life. So how do you do this? How do you interact with people so that you can use these techniques? You can use subliminal programming techniques. You can use conversational hypnotic techniques. You can use presuppositional linguistics to help them get a better life while still following your hidden directives. It's actually very, very simple, because all you really need to do is ask people what they want. Find out their deep dreams. Find out their fantasies. Find out their ambitions. And just make sure that you take the ideas that you want them to accept as their and mingle them, commingle them, mix them in their brain with the ideas they want to do. And that will set them on a much better course. That will set them on a much better course. Well, they will live a happier life because of you. And this is far, far easier than most people will ever realize, because most people don't even want to realize this. Most people don't even want to understand this. But you can take your knowledge of how covert hypnosis works. You can take your knowledge of how subliminal programming works. You can take your knowledge of how linguistic presuppositions work and use them to slightly shift your communication when you talk to people. So you can shift them from being brainwashed into a life that's not in their best interest to being brainwashed into a life that is in their best interest. And they will be much better off because of it. And this is much, much easier than most people will ever realize. To simply shift how you talk to people so you can shift their lives, so you can shift their desires, so you can shift what they do with their time and their thinking and their thoughts and their ideas. This is a very, very powerful idea, and a lot of people don't even want to acknowledge that this is possible. But you have this power. Because you are watching this video now, you understand that this power exists, that you can have the linguistic power to better shift people's lives, to better help them achieve what they want. So what do you think? What would you like to do? How would you like to live your life knowing that you have the power to shift the mental programming that is going on in everybody's brain around you? How would you like to respond to this? How would you like to live your life because of this? How does it feel when you go outside and you look around at all the people and you realize how easy it is to mind control those people? How easy it is to hypnotize those people? How easy it is to use your communication to give them a much better life, make them and you feel fantastic by subliminally creating mutual beneficial relationships between you and them. This is what you have as your power. This is what rests within your brain. This is what being aware of what's going on allows you to do. So think about this. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd like to learn more about how to significantly improve your language skills so you can easily hypnotize other people into a better life, check out the links below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.